We're living in a world today that will go down in history as the decade where the whole world is waking up from a long winter sleep. 60 years ago, Martin Luther King mentioned the Emancipation Proclamation, a decree which came as a beacon of light and hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. He said it came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. And here we are 160 years later, and our government insists the black man is still not free. The government insists we all hate each other and we therefore should limit our speech and not say the things we want to say in fear of offending somebody. Martin said in 1963 that the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and that they live on a lonely island of poverty. Well, it isn't such a lonely island anymore, and now we've got a whole nation of people, white, black, and everything in between, living paycheck to paycheck while our government spends billions of dollars on weapons of mass destruction and to house people streaming across our border while Americans drown in debt and despair. Like Martin, I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. He went on to say that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. He dreamed that even the state of Mississippi, a state at the time sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, would be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. He had a dream that his 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. He mentioned that with this faith, we will be able to hew out the mountain of despair a stone of hope. We will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. That's what he said. He said this will be the day when all God's children will be able to sing with new meaning. If America is to be a great nation, this must become true. He said, let freedom ring. When we allow freedom to ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day. We are now well into the 4th Industrial Revolution and we've come to a crossroads. On the one hand, AI and web technologies have brought humanity to a point where we can instantly see with our own eyes what's going on the other side of the world as easily as we can see what our neighbor next door is doing in his backyard. And yet, young people and old people alike are feeling like they want to give up. Many feel defeated by the contradictions. Our current president claimed that we were all in grave danger from a virus that came out of nowhere, that we later learned was created by the same people peddling the cure. They locked us down, censored speech they didn't want to hear. They continue to tell us that it's self-defense to annihilate a population because they're a threat to humanity, and yet it's America's bombs that are the true threat to our very existence. Does that mean I hate America? No, it doesn't. The things that America is doing right now is not the America I know. The America I know is one where all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, and everybody in between will be able to join hands and sing, "Let Freedom Ring." I see a world where instead of having signs erected by the government warning us to fear each other, we have signs erected in the hearts of each one of us that remind us that we need to count on each other and stand up loudly to a government that tries to destroy that solidarity. I never thought I'd see the day when there's so many great things possible in this country and around the world, and at the same time what we say we stand for is the complete opposite to what we seem to be becoming. There's so much more I can say on this subject, but now is not a time for complaining or blaming. It's the time for joining hands and doing. A year ago, I set out to invite people to a world I'm very familiar with, the world of technology. I mentioned that I was willing to share with you what I know about this subject. I had a few people join me, but not nearly as many as I hoped. There's no easy way to say this, But we cannot build a great society if we all confuse the actions of a few and pretend they're representative of the many. I know you have some great ideas inside of you, and I want to help you bring them to the surface. I have a dream that we can all put aside the notion that what somebody else thinks is more important than what you think, and reject the idea that in order to succeed, we have to tippy-toe around each other and focus on how to cancel each other instead of focusing on how we can all build a world worth living. I can't do this on my own, and you can start right now by first acknowledging that the world is in need of solutions and not division, and the solutions are inside of you. The fourth industrial revolution is transforming the world just as much as Martin's speech transformed the world 60 years ago. In 1963, we needed to change our minds, and we did. Not everybody, and not all at once, but many of us have done the best we can, but we can do better. In 2024, we need to learn how to use our minds to create a future worthy for our children and grandchildren to live and prosper in. I believe we can do that by developing our superpowers and by leveraging AI and web technologies to bring our goodness to the surface. That's my dream, and I want to help you build yours. As Martin reminded us 60 years ago, let freedom ring. I hope to see you on the Zoom calls.